Hey, Cash, how are you?
Hey Rachel, I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So, Cash, will you introduce yourself and just tell me, where you live, where you've been from, how old you are and stuff like that?
Yep, got you. So my name is Kashif Campbell. Typically, I go by Cash. Um, I am 25 years old. I pretty much grew up in the Georgia area. I went to St. Stephen's Lutheran Church. That was my home church for a while I was in like high school and a little bit of college. Currently, I live in Orlando, Florida. And I think that's about it. Currently, I'm working for Lockheed Martin, and I've done a lot of different things, in the church just since pretty much since like middle school. I've been doing Lutheran church and doing different camps and stuff, but we'll probably get more into that later.
Yeah. So, what is the first thing that you remember about serving in the church or doing something in the church?
So I think it was back in probably I want to say sixth grade sounds about right. Around the sixth or seventh grade. I remember when I started going to St. Stephen's because we actually had a family friend, me and my mom. We had a family friend who was going to the church. So we said we'll try it out, and it was really a good blend because St. Stephen's Lutheran Church is mixed with it has a lot of Caribbean culture, Guyanese, and different other cultures. And my family is from Guyana, which is a country in South America. So that was really what first pinned us to kind of go into the church. And I think after a few weeks, the pastor at the time, she wanted me to get on the board to be an acolyte for the church. So, that was like one of my first, it was interesting because I'd never done it before. I've seen it, I see the acolytes usually walking up and down the aisle with the candle and the light and putting the light on the candle and stuff. So it was always a little interesting but weird. But overall, I got used to it. I learned like the Apostle Creed and stuff while going up there. So I think that was really my first full experience. And overall, it was a good one. It was different, but there were a lot of other folks in the church who did it. And I guess, with the church being a little bit more towards my culture, I didn't feel like embarrassed or scared or anything. So
Right. Yeah. There was a lot of young people at St. Stephen's too, wasn't there?
yeah, we had a lot. And I think, and it's crazy because probably now a lot of those younger ones are probably now like 17, 18, 19
Hmm.
grown up. But it's just crazy because like when I first started, like it was probably a few people that were in that, I'd say 13-year range because a lot of them were like really young. So then like by the time I got 18, a lot of them were in that age. So we had a whole bunch of acolytes and like every Sunday was a new one. So like a lot of them started to grow up and get into
Hmm.
those leadership skills afterwards. So.
What else did St. Stephen's or like adults in the church ask you to do?
Um, so I think that was one of the first things. I think after a while, honestly, the next big thing that I remember was actually going to Lutheridge. I remember the same pastor. She had like there was I guess they wanted to really get a lot of the youth involved in just some of the Lutheran activities outside of church. So they had a
Mhm.
big group meeting with like maybe like 7 or 8 of us that were around that 13 to 17-ish range. I think at this time I was maybe 14 or 15.
Mhm.
And she sat down, she explained to us about Lutheridge. They said, yeah, it's a little higher money, they're gonna help us, blase, blase. And it was cool. I'm not gonna lie, when they first told me, I wasn't really interested. My mom was just like, yeah, come on, go ahead and do it. So she led me to go to that little meeting. And it's funny because towards the end, like I guess whenever like I was getting ready to start, get ready for the actual Lutheridge. I remember my mom, she was just like, I know it's a little far. If you don't want to go, it's okay. It was like maybe 3 weeks before. And I was just telling her, I was like, nah, at this point, you've already got me all ready and got all my stuff. So I might as well go at this point. So it's just funny because, how she kind of switched up, but I'm pretty much changed my life after that. Like just because of the different people I got to meet and like that. After that year, I pretty much kept going to Lutheran, either Lutheridge and then eventually at Firm for like the next 5
Mhm.
years. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, did you help out with like Vacation Bible School or with the younger kids when you were at St.
So I
Stephen?
know I did that. We used to have different events, and I would like kind of network with some of the younger folk, the younger kids that we had. Like at the time, they were a little bit younger, so we didn't really do too much. Like, well, we had a couple like what is it, Sunday schools, and the same friend who told us about the church, she led Sunday school. So sometimes I would kind of go in the back, me and her daughter, and we would kind of help, with some of the different activities we were doing. And I know one of the things I also helped with was we had like a Christmas play So, I kind of worked with everybody and, helped them us, just do the different things. I was Santa Claus that year. So
Oh,
it was fun. But yeah, so, just different little things like that. And then we did a lot of different volunteer things. I think throughout time, like a lot of the younger kids kind of just eventually looked up to me, just because I guess being one of the older youths at that time, doing all of these different, going to Luther Ridge and going to Affirm, and then one year when they went, I was a counselor, and I think I could feel like they kind of looked at me with a, I guess a hierarchy, which felt kind of good because they would come to me for advice and stuff. So,
yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. So like during college, did you stay connected with Saints? How did you stay connected with your faith? And, were you doing any kind of leadership stuff then? I mean, were you doing?
So I stayed connected a little bit. It wasn't as much, just because even though I did go to college in Georgia, it was about a 45 to an hour drive. So, every now and again, some Sundays were a little hard, especially if I, hang out on Saturday or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I still went maybe, I say once a month. I would go because my mom still went to the church, at least for my first 2 years of college. But then eventually, like, she kind of diverted off because I think she found another church, like that had some other family members of ours. So she kind of started to go to that one a little bit more. But overall, I kind of still like going to that church because I guess for me, once I start going somewhere and I grow up and I grow into it, I just kind of, I get comfortable and I get to start to stay. A lot of the church family, like anytime I go in there, everybody knows me. Like, hey, how's school? I kind of like that environment. So that's why I kind of continue to go. So it wasn't as frequent, but I still kind of felt at home every time I did go. So that was pretty good. And as far as leadership, I think I still continued to do, or as much as I was able to, Affirm or Luther Ridge. I know I did Yay Me, which is the Affirm group where you kind of like from college to being like a staff member. So I know I did that maybe my first year in college.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I did become a counselor for I've been a counselor twice. So I know those were during my college years. So I did still do a couple little counseling opportunities, which was pretty cool.
Awesome. So has there ever been a time when you were surprised that someone like asked you to lead and there were no holes back, you could do whatever you wanted?
Got you. And actually, I would probably say it was about last year around October. I also, another opportunity that I forgot to mention is I've also been involved in going to the I forgot the name of it. Give me 1 minute. I also started going to Elijah's Call. So my first year I went, I was just invited as a participant. I had a great time. But last October, one of my friends that was she was for Elijah's Call last year, she was in charge of the committee chair. Mm-hmm. And she gave me a call and asked if I wanted to be on the committee with her to help, set up the conference. I believe I was like in some way like a logistics person, just help with the agenda. We come up with different meetings and, or just different conversations to try to get a good agenda for when everybody came out to Chicago last October and we had a full like 4 or 5 day retreat with the team. So that was pretty right. So it was pretty interesting because I had only really met them once, and we had good friendship and we had good conversations. But aside from that, we didn't know each other that well. But I just thought, I guess, based on my how I led while I was there the first time, and just I guess how I presented myself, they felt like I was a good candidate, and it worked out really well. We had a really good conference, good turnout. Everybody had a great time. We got the logistics of everything from the hotel to where we eat in. And it was a really great time. I met, strengthened a lot of relationships with the folks that I knew before. And then I met a lot of newer people. So it was just really cool. So I think that's probably one of the things where it was just a surprise just that they thought of me. But overall it went really well. So I think that was really cool.
Has there been ever a time when you were like squashed because you were wanting to lead and somebody didn't let you?
Trying to think. Would this be in the church world or just in general?
Well, my church world would be my preference, but
I'm trying to think.
It does happen in life too, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I guess Let me take 1 minute to think about that one.
Actually, I'm hoping that you didn't have
Yeah, I'm
anything.
about to say I really don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to really think hard, but I don't think so. I mean, for the most part, I really haven't had too many bad opportunities that I could really think of off rip. I guess because I'm pretty easygoing and
Yeah. What about coaches or mentors? Because what we're talking about today is keychain leadership, and so it's about people that see gifts in you and they kind of coach you and mentor. Who in your life, have been some of those people?
gotcha. So I think I probably met a lot of really good kind of mentors and coaches between Affirm and Lutheran, honestly.
Mhm.
Just as far as like sometimes for me, even mentoring is just having good conversations. So being able to have conversations with people in Christ and just get an understanding of certain things or just see how other people relate or look at certain things kind of helps me. I'm more quiet, but I learn a lot by just being around everybody and kind of just retaining the information. So I know even from like my Affirm days, I feel like Isaac. I forgot his last name. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Isaac was probably a really big mentor from when I first started at Affirm. Like he just kind of took me as like a little brother. He was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" He knew I liked basketball, so it worked well. He always reached out. And then even after after that first year, like we would kind of have social media. He'll reach out to me then. I remember the next year I went to Affirm that second year after. I think I was just coming in with my mom. We were trying to get some paper signed so I can kind of get ready and go, find my friends. And all of a sudden, you just hear this one really tall guy be like, "Kashif!" And I was just like, "Oh shoot!" And it was just cool because like he knew exactly who I was. He remembered me. And like ever since then, we've been great friends. I think
Yeah.
last year, might have been last year. I did a lot last year, but last year I had a conference with one of my engineering organizations, and I was in Knoxville, and I had reached out to Isaac, and he was there, and we linked up. He picked me up. We went and got some food and just chilled. So like it's really cool to. I was able to link up with him. He always gave me good advice. I think he was getting ready, or he might have just came back from his Yagam. It was one of the two. I can't remember. So it was pretty. I think he just came back. So we kind of talked a little bit about it and everything. But it was just cool, just to learn a little bit from him
Yeah.
and kind of network with him. So I think he would probably be one. And from Luther Ridge, honestly, I feel like you really was a big mentor for me, just leading me to Affirm. And because I remember going to those. I forgot what it's called, like I guess the Bible set. When we kind of learned about different like readings and different. The different topics for those days. Like it was, you kind of linked up with me and Juan, and we just have good conversations. And you told us about Affirm, and it kind of got me far. And just that I really want to go. And I was like, yeah. So I think y'all two are really big, and and there's a lot of other folks, but those are just two of the few.
Yeah.
Two of the main.
Well, I mean, that's what it's all about, is like just making relationships and supporting one another and pushing you a little bit to get you to take steps that maybe you wouldn't normally take, like going to Luther Ridge or going to Affirm, and then you were on staff, which what an honor that is, So for those of you out there that don't know what Affirm is, it's a leadership and discipleship camp at Southeastern Synod. And there is, depending upon the number of kids, there's one staff person for every probably 6 to 8 kids. And so usually there's about 80 staff, but there's a lot more applications than staff positions. So it's pretty special when you get on staff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kashif, I am so excited to be able to talk to you. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. And I can't wait to hear more about your job. We got to stay connected. So
yeah. I'm glad. I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity. I always look for just different times. I think when I went to Elijah's Call my first year, they were doing like a video where they would just like talk about your experiences, and I think I went, and I'm pretty sure I spoke a whole bunch about Affirm in Luther, because that was one of my major leadership experiences. And even now going to like interviews for jobs, whenever they ask me about leadership stuff, usually Affirm or stuff like that kind of comes to my mind first, just because I had so many different like opportunities. Now of course, working, I got a lot of other ones as well, but I always tell folks, as far as my I guess I feel like I have a really good, or I'm really good at being able to network and work very well with all different cultures or different people, races, and everything. A big part of that happened or started because of Luther Ridge and Affirm. Just, you know, I would have really great friends that were opposite races, you know, at Affirm and have no problem. And I'll go back home and tell all my friends, hey, this is what it is, you know, and nobody made fun of me, but it was, you know, so I think it was just, I felt more comfortable. So like now in the work world, I don't really have any issues. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're all part of this big old family, God's big old family, aren't we?
Yep.
You know, so anyway, well, listen, Kashif, thank you so much. And I'm gonna sign off. Thank you again for helping me out with this. So I'm gonna stop our recording.
All right.